All right, let me say this because some people seem to be getting confused.
Why would they be confused?
September 1st is still the date, okay? We're still going to keep doing what we've been saying that we were going to do on September 1st.
So people seem to be thinking that I'm extremely negative about this general strike that's supposedly going on. But let me detail what they will be doing between now and September 1st, just so you all can see the impressiveness of the organizing prowess that is taking place for this strike for September 1st. Let's go. First, you need to develop a small research team. You need to identify resources, community leaders, mutual aid at the hyperlocal, local, regional, statewide, then national level. You want to know what already exists so that you don't have to create an entirely new network to support this strike, right? You then need that communication team to create questions and research surveys. Because the next step is going to be to get people on the ground to talk with those community leaders and existing resources to see what they have, what they need, and what they hope for the future. And you're also going to want to give them the resources and communication tools to speak to their own stakeholders, the people on the ground, their clients, the people that they're helping out on a daily basis, to understand what their needs are. So those tools need to be created even before you get on the ground to meet with people individually, to ask them exactly how they're going to participate in the strike and make that ask of those people. You then need to survey the places that don't have those existing resources and see what is needed there, and getting to know the community enough to see what the supports are and who can lead that effort. Because you can't be the face of that effort. They need somebody that understands the people, the culture, the dynamics of that area. So you not only need to identify leadership, you need to give leadership training if that's what's needed in that moment. So then once you've identified hyper-local, local, regional, statewide, and then national movement leaders, then you need to coordinate them. And throughout that entire process, you need to be creating, cultivating, and practicing a decentralized communication system that does not rely on the internet or mobile phones. Because the very first thing that the opposition is going to do is cut off your ability to communicate. So social media and cell phones would probably not be safe. Now, once you have all of that data, all the things that have been cultivated, right, you need to start splitting things into demands and goals for the government, and goals and demands that are to be made of you to give to people to sustain the strike. There should be demands and goals of the government at every single level at which you are organizing, from hyperlocal to national, with specific talking points and communication points, both legislatively and in plain language. And all of this has to be done with the background of a relationship building process, which means that you need to be doing conflict management, anti-racism training, and organizational training as well, for people at every single level of this organization. You're also going to want funds and finances set up at every single level. And you want to keep the legal defense funds separate from those strike-sustaining funds. Or have we forgotten that people have started to be charged with terrorism counts due to being community organizers? And you don't want to have all that money on pot depleting the funds that could go towards people who need medications, food, and supplies. Additionally, who is coordinating all the supplies? We need funders, donors, stakeholders, what have you. There needs to be trustworthy people specifically designated to making sure that all of that is coordinated properly at every level. So you need teams on teams on teams. You also need to coordinate medical care, transport to hospitals, emergency care, and ask disabled and elderly people the things that they need to sustain this strike. Who's driving whom where? Is it accessible? Are the materials accessible? And again, throughout this entire process, we're practicing, creating, and implementing a decentralized communication system to sustain the strike itself. What do we need for that? What skill sets do we need? Have we done an appreciative inquiry of people's skill sets and where they could be planted A, B, or C location? I'm sorry, let me go back to our video to see what the next step was.
On the 11th, we're going to gather in front of all of your local news stations and sing in unison, "We shall overcome," as loud as we possibly can. That's what
I guess. So the last part you're going to cultivate is the media outreach and communications teams, the external communication team. Because throughout the entirety of the planning process, you do not want to tip your hand. But again, that requires relationship building with the press. And that can't be done just because you say so. These one-day strikes should not be considered one-day strikes. They should be considered practice runs. Making sure that you have every single thing in place that you need for the longer strike. I don't know why y'all keep making strikes with end dates, but the entire threat is that it could last forever. But anyways, that will be all the stuff that is happening between now and September 1st. So I wish everybody luck. And let me just practice. We shall overcome.